When you think of the best era of Sonic, what comes to your mind? The first Dark Age? The early 2000s? Or maybe it's the Meta era? Well, maybe it's not that one. I mean, surely there's nobody that actually likes Sonic Forces. I mean, those things don't even exist. Well, maybe they do. But anyways, let's answer the question of what is the best era of Sonic. And to do this, let's go all the way back, back when Sonic was good. 2011, I mean, it was good for a year, but I'm talking about the last time Sonic was good for at least 3 years in a row. It's been a very long time. So I guess that would have to be the 1990s. Alright. So, back in the 90s, Sonic 1 was obviously very popular and even rivaled Mario at one point, believe it or not. In fact, 2 million copies were sold worldwide by the end of the year, which is pretty good considering that this was literally the first Sonic game. So, things were looking good for Sega and Sonic Team. But what about Sonic 2 and Sonic 3? And the other games to come in the early 90s? Were they good? Well, take a guess. Yes? No? I mean, what do I say with games like Sonic 3, but then games like Sonic Spinball? Also, you can't forget about Knuckles Chaotix. I mean, the gameplay sucks, but the music sure doesn't. So, it's whatever. Also, there's the Tails spin-off games, but I haven't played them. However, from what I've seen, they are actually terrible, I'm not gonna lie. But other than the spin-off games, I'd honestly say that this is one of the best eras for Sonic. I'm not gonna say it is the best because, we're not at that point yet. But yeah, the reputation for Sonic was looking pretty good. Up until now, at least.
Uh-oh, Richard!
Sonic 3D Blast. I hate it. Sonic R. Never played it. Sonic Extreme? Cancelled. Sonic fans often label this time period the rough transition into 3D. If you're a Sonic fan, there's a good chance you've come across this term. But for those who don't know, let me tell you. It's basically a time where we got 3D Sonic games, right? But they weren't mainline Sonic games, they were just spin-offs. Now what makes these games special is that they actually all were not that good, if I'm being honest. And of course, that's just my opinion, but I think the majority of people would agree that Sonic 3D Blast is not that good. Sonic R, that's debatable. People are gonna like it for the music. And don't forget about Sonic Extreme, that game was cancelled. Honestly, I would have loved to see what Sonic Extreme could have been had it came out. But yeah, to be honest with you guys, this is probably the worst, maybe second worst era for Sonic in my opinion. It was just a mess, development hell, pretty much, especially with Sonic Extreme. And also the isometric view with Sonic 3D Blast, that didn't work out. And Sonic R, some fans may like the game, but for the critics, nope. These games during this time period were not received well at all. And now that brings us to the next era. The first game in this era is none other than Sonic Adventure. At this point in time, Sonic Adventure 1 changed the whole Sonic franchise. Luckily enough, it was for the better. But how, you might be wondering? Well, maybe the simple fact that it was a mainline Sonic game and it was good. And the mainline Sonic game hadn't been released for years until Sonic Adventure 1. And not only did Sonic fans like this game, but even the critics did too. Yeah, IGN gave Sonic Adventure an 8.6 out of 10. That sounds crazy just even saying that now. But yeah, Sonic Adventure was good. It was loved by the fans and liked by the critics. But what about the sequel? Was Sonic Adventure 2 good? Yes it was. In fact, many Sonic fans call Sonic Adventure 2 the best Sonic game. And this time around, Sonic Adventure 2 got a 9.4 out of 10 from IGN. So I think it's safe to say that Sonic Adventure 2 did surpass the sequel. Wait, what? Frick! Now you might be wondering why I actually didn't put Sonic Heroes in with the Adventure Era, and let me explain why. So, in short, some Sonic fans think that Sonic Heroes was when the Dark Age started, but another group of Sonic fans believe that the Dark Age started with Shadow the Hedgehog. So, pretty much, I didn't really know what to do with this game, so I'm just gonna put it here, like in the middle of all these like time periods, I guess, with Sonic. I'm not gonna put it in the Dark Age, but I'm not gonna put it in the Adventure Era because it's pretty mixed when it comes to the Sonic fan base. And talking about pretty mixed, so was the gameplay, and well, the game itself. So when it comes to Sonic Heroes, Sonic fans often tend to think that this game is either good or bad, and I'm one of the people that think that Sonic Heroes is not a very good game. I'll save my reasons on this for another video, which will obviously be a Sonic Heroes retrospective or something of the sort, review maybe. But yeah, I didn't like Sonic Heroes personally. And you know, if you like it, it's whatever, that's cool. Don't let anybody else's opinion change that. But I just wanted to inform you guys on what my opinion is on it right now. Alright, here we are, the real Dark Age. It's pretty rough. Let's not lie, it's pretty bad. Now when it comes to the Dark Age, one thing you'll notice is that most of these games were really ambitious. And at first, it may seem like a good thing. But here's the thing, it really wasn't executed properly, especially Sonic 06. But anyways, let's start with Shadow the Hedgehog. What went wrong? So what really went wrong was that this game is hot garbage. It's not good at all. Not even a little bit. There's not one aspect of this game that I can think of that is even just a little good. I just can't think of one. And I'm sure that many Sonic fans were very happy to see that there's a Sonic game dedicated to Shadow that was going to be coming out. But hey man, it was a letdown. The story was trash. The gameplay sucks. I mean, it was just pretty much a big flop. But you know what else was a flop? Well, an even bigger flop was Sonic 06. Yeah, so if you thought Shadow the Hedgehog was bad, well, you're not nearly prepared for Sonic 06 then. What's actually crazy to me is that Sonic 06 is a way more ambitious game than Shadow the Hedgehog, in my opinion. And it failed terribly. And just like Shadow the Hedgehog, Sonic 06 failed when it came to the gameplay and the story. Not only that, but the game was very buggy. Yes, many glitches were in that game, and some may even say that those glitches make it even more fun. But for me personally, that didn't really change anything. That's why I decided to play Project 06, which is a remaster of Sonic 06, but better, of course, since it's a remaster. And since I played it, maybe you should too. Give it a try, see if you like it or not. But moving on, we have the storybook games. So first is Sonic and the Secret Rings, of course, and in my opinion, I truly think that Sonic and the Secret Rings could have been good if it didn't have the Wii motion controls. Yeah, I remember playing that and it was not a fun experience at all. The same can be said for Sonic and the Black Knight too. However, one thing that I can really appreciate about these games is that they have amazing aesthetics, especially Sonic and the Secret Rings, but Sonic and the Black Knight has some pretty cool looking places too. Unfortunately, the storybook games were not received well at all. In fact, they did more harm to the franchise than good. And now that leaves us with the best game from the Dark Age, Sonic Unleashed. When it comes to Sonic Unleashed, it's a game where the fans liked it a lot at first, right, when it came out on release. However, the critics didn't like it, and you know, it just kind of blows my mind away how they gave this game such a low score when it really deserved to be at least an 8 out of 10 in my opinion. And sure, the Werehog was pretty bad, but if you can overlook that, then you'll actually start to realize that the good outweighs the bad in this game. I mean, think about it, we got arguably the best boost stages from Sonic Unleashed. And to be honest, the daytime stages do carry, because the nighttime stages, like I said, are not all that. So to sum this all up, Sonic Unleashed was liked by the fans, like I said, but the critics didn't like it. So you could take this as you will. So in conclusion, for the Dark Age, Shadow the Hedgehog hurt the franchise. Sonic 06 definitely did the most damage. The storybook games were not good at all, and they were only on the Wii, so it's like not many people even played it. And then Sonic Unleashed was pretty mixed when it came to the overall community. And now let's move on to the meta era. The meta era started with Sonic Colors. The tone in the series had changed at this point, and the game was also pretty good too, and not just to Sonic fans, but to the critics too. The reviews for this game were pretty good. My only gripes with this game are the 2D sections and the story, but then again, I never really cared about Sonic stories. I just play for the gameplay, but it is nice to know that some of the stories are pretty good. Something else that's good is Sonic Generations. In fact, it's so good that it's my favorite Sonic game. Now, at the time, this game was a pretty big deal. I mean, think about it. We got a whole bunch of zones never seen before in 3D. I mean, yeah, the classic Sonic zones were pretty good in this game, but what really stood out and carried this game were the modern Sonic stages. But then again, Sonic Generations was my first Sonic game, so I guess you could say that Sonic fans liked this game a bunch. The critics liked it too, so you know, it was a dub. But you know what wasn't a dub? Sonic Lost World. You see, Sonic Lost World is kind of confusing. I mean, to start off, Sonic has a run button, and secondly, the environments. Man, those are definitely Nintendo Mario inspired environments right there, man. And I would say that the gameplay is mediocre at best, but the music was pretty alright. However, what wasn't really alright was the story. It was just cringe with a whole bunch of jokes that just really weren't funny, and that was pretty much the meta era. And you know, those type of jokes were also in Sonic Colors too. However, you know, I can overlook that because Sonic Colors actually had really good gameplay, unlike Sonic Lost World. Now, when it comes to the Sonic fans, I've talked to a lot of people that don't think Sonic Lost World is a good game. However, I've talked with a few people who do think Sonic Lost World is good, but it's kind of rare that I come across those people. Unfortunately, the reviews were really not that good, and I can't even blame the critics for this decision. I mean, the game is pretty trash, but then again, that is my opinion. If you want to tell me why Sonic Lost World is good in the comments, then please give me your reasons why. I would love to discuss that, but something I wouldn't love to discuss is Sonic Forces. Man, where do I even begin? No, like actually, should I start with the story, or maybe the classic Sonic stages, or maybe just the gameplay in general, or maybe the cosmetics? Okay, let's summarize this one quickly. So let's just say that it's terrible. It's the worst Boost game I have ever played, and you know, well, Sonic Frontiers might be worse, I'm not gonna lie, but Boost game, I'm talking about Boost game specifically. Yeah, Sonic Forces, definitely, man. Now let's talk Sonic Mania, a good game from the meta era. This game has everything. Good gameplay, yup. A good story, yes sir. If you're a Sonic fan and you haven't played this, then you are missing out, because this is one of the best Sonic games. Top 10 in my opinion. Yeah, I said it, top 10. Now what makes this game good is the gameplay, the graphics, yes, the visuals, and to be honest, it's pretty much Sonic Generations but in 2D with some new zones. Also, the reviews were pretty good too, and the Sonic fans loved this game. You know what, I guess you could say that I love this game too. And a matter of fact, I think I'll say that this is the best game of the meta era because it really brought Sonic back on its feet. But of course, Sonic Forces had to come out after that, so I left the Sonic franchise. But to sum up the meta era, I would say that it was pretty bad, and I know that a lot of people do not like this time period for Sonic, mainly due to the non-serious stories and some of the questionable games that were made, such as Lost World and especially Forces, even Sonic Boom, but that's not necessarily canon, so that's why I didn't talk about it. And now let's move on to the next and final era. To start off this era, we got Sonic Frontiers, and that's it so far since it actually just came out this month in November. From the time of this recording, I've seen a lot of people who actually like this game, and it's a lot of Sonic fans' favorite Sonic game, or at least like top 5 or whatever. But in my opinion, personally, I played the game and I beat it last week, and you know, it's I'm pretty mixed when it comes to the game, and I'll give my opinions on it on a review because I don't want to spoil all my opinions now, but yes, Sonic Frontiers is pretty good. I know there's some people that don't like it, but it's safe to say that Sonic Frontiers impacted the Sonic franchise in a very good way and actually brought this franchise back on its feet. And yeah, an open world game, it's a new approach, and I'm excited to see where this era goes. And with all that to say, I think that the best Sonic era is the classic era, because most of the games were actually really good in this era, and in the other eras there were a lot more flaws and it was pretty inconsistent. But anyways, make sure to like and subscribe if you liked the video, and peace.